I have a question about the ingredient list. So it's listed, it comes through from the manufacturer, but in the database, will those be discrete ingredients, or do you have them as a text string?
Oh, you're asking for name and affiliation.
Oh, sure. I'm Elaine Ayres from the National Institutes of Health.
Great, thank you. So I probably should ask the National Nutrient Data. It's a discrete, it's a string.
Yes, there will be a text box on the page, but we also have ingredient parsing capability, or we will have that so that we can use those ingredient lists for other purposes.
Great. And just one other question. Will you be grabbing the contained statement for allergens?
We will not be.
Okay.
Oh, no, excuse me, it is on there. I'm sorry, it's all part of, no. Okay.
Great. Thank you so much.
I'm Thea Zimmerman from Westat. I'm wondering, the release that's going to happen with the 350 or so products, part of them are the data from GS1 and part are from Label Insight, is that right?
That is correct. 240 from the GS1 mechanism, and then the other little over 100 through Label Insight.
And is that identified in the release somehow, or just whether it has the G10 number or UPC number? Nothing tells you that.
Yeah, no, it's all collapsed into the branded food products database.
Okay. Thank you.
So one of the points of that is that the database will host all of this information, irrespective of which way it came through, but it will come through a mechanism that does have some quality control, at least to assure that the attributes that we have assigned or have expectations of being there will be there. But otherwise, you'll just see a national branded foods database.
Philip Brewster from the University of Utah. I was wondering if the G10 information or other product details are going to be parsed out of the descriptor into numeric fields for lookups, or are they just going to be text fields?
So I think Pamela Pearson should come up for this panel discussion, because we're helping to get the data in, but they're formatting all of it. So Pamela, you may want to come up here so they can hear you on the microphone.
The G10 and UPC number, depending on the source of the data, will be included in the food descriptor. And we present that descriptor exactly as we receive it from the manufacturer.
Okay, so it would be included as a text field then, rather than as a unique key field?
It won't be a unique field. It'll be collapsed with the food descriptor.
Okay, and then the same would apply for other numeric information in the descriptor, like the package size?
Yes.
Thank you.
All together.
I'm Johanna Dwyer. I'm a contractor at the Office of Dietary Supplements. Just wanted to mention, remember all of the work that Dr. John Milner, who died a few years ago, put into this, and also the wonderful work that people at Beltsville have been doing, Dr. Fukugawa, Dr. Pearson, and others. It's really remarkable. We run a similar, a very much smaller database at the Office of Dietary Supplements, and we had the good fortune for Congress, in its great wisdom, to give us a line item that has really supported us developing a dietary supplement label database. And this, of course, is much larger. What you're doing is much larger, and I wonder how much money it would take to really do full-scale implementation. It can't all be voluntary. There's a lot of back of the the office stuff that goes on, and I just don't have any idea of how much money it would cost. Is it a couple million or how much?
I won't go into precise numbers with you, Johanna. I can talk to you later about that. We have, were you offering some from office? That's fine. So the Nutrient Data Lab is one of the intramural labs at ARS, and there is some funding that's been committed to developing the nutrient data, the database. We are actually also in another negotiation right now with an outside foundation to do fundraising and support for us so that we can commit external funds to this process. Surprisingly enough, there are a number of outside groups that are very anxious to participate in this and want to see this data, and so there's an interest in having them commit money to it so that they can be part of this whole database as well. I'm not at liberty right now to talk to you about exactly what's happening with that because it was dependent on the initial agreements being signed, and then I will be moving on to that hopefully in a week or so, to be able to get that, to get commitment. We would love to say that we could go back to Congress and ask them for a commitment, for a line item to this. Haven't been successful doing that so far. So it would be great if we could do this, but we are going to seek other sources of funding so that we can make sure this is a continued project and it will be maintained.
Hi, my name is Carol Boucher from the University of Hawaii Cancer Center. And that was great, by the way. I cannot believe 2 years ago we heard you present, and you've come so far in that 2 years, so hats off to you. And this question is, it's been asked twice already, but I just want to clarify, because I still am not getting it. But so with these two groups, you'll get the G10 and the UPC. So will those be consistent, each of them will be populated, or you will have one or the other?
So one or the other, or
Okay.
the UPC, as I said, has evolved into the G10, so I anticipate that it'll probably all shift, but
Well, I
you know,
noticed on
again,
your
it's-
slide,
yes,
one was the
we
UPC.
have one with UPC.
Yeah,
So
okay.
one or the other, but there is a unique identifier for that product, yes.
Right. the
So
one
that you know
had
that the nutrient composition information is unique to that specific branded or private label product. Correct, yes.
This is way high. Hi, my name is Josie Deeks. I'm from Health Canada, and hats off to you guys because what an enormous amount of work in a short timeline. We're still in our infancy of working our way through maybe the legal, technical, operational loopholes. But my question or comment is, at some point there was a decision to do this seamless combination of the reference database with the branded database. Was that a difficult decision? Or I can see using all the same functionalities, but it does make it so that the public person who really only wants to see the branded database material is probably going to be confused by the generic ones. And the search functions must get, well, I know as a user, I'm not really looking for the US branded information, I'm only looking for the generic. And your search lists are so long now. Is there a way that you can separate those out?
The search program does allow you to do that. So, for example, if you were to go in through to our website and click on search, you could put in ketchup, for example, and it would bring up in the selection list all of the different branded ketchups in the branded foods database, and it would say on the right side that that's the source. And it would also bring up the catsups and the ketchups from SR, so you'd be able to select from that.
Okay.
The search program covers both and allows you to select.
Okay, thank you.
Hello, I'm Elizabeth Braithwaite. I'm the database manager from Escher Research, and pending the final approval of the proposed nutrition facts panels, I was wondering if you had considered adding vitamin D, potassium, and added sugars to the mandatory nutrient set.
We did have that discussion. I mean, that came up during the development phase with all the stakeholders around the table that were helping to make decisions on what was going to be mandatory. And the decision was that, we would wait to see what came out because it wasn't known. We still don't know. However, it could be that manufacturers may begin to move forward to provide those nutrients which they have the capability to do that tomorrow if they wanted to. But it's not mandatory, and we would not move it to mandatory until the final regulation was issued. Or I don't think we would, or that's what the decision today among the partners.
That makes sense. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Ksenia Kleanthis from the Heart Foundation in Australia. I just have a question about the coverage that you may anticipate of products in the branded food database. I guess based on the beta testing or some preliminary work, do you have an expectation of what proportion of products, say, within a given food category might be represented through the GS1 population?
We don't, but again, we did have that conversation. It was something that actually our member companies really wanted to better understand, or all manufacturers, where were the largest gaps? What is USDA most interested in? Because there's a transition phase of whether or not all of a sudden a member or a manufacturer could upload all of their data. I think as we've been working through this program, a lot's been going behind the scenes on the manufacturer side to gear up to this, so they may be ready for everything. But the response back from USDA was, we're really interested in any data, and we don't want to prioritize or to place limits or suggest we're only interested in bread or anything. And so, in fact, it was open-ended. We did say, you can look at your product portfolio and decide within your company what makes sense. Where does the interest lie within the dietary guidelines, and do your products help to meet the goals of those kinds of conversations. But it was wide open. It's really about getting more data in, and we're looking forward to seeing what comes.
Okay, thank you. Hello, I'm Angela Sheet. I'm from the USDA Grand Forks Human Nutrition Research Center. I had a question about the serving size descriptions. I noticed on one of, I think it was the Amy's pot pie, it just had a gram weight. Will the serving descriptions also include like a common, like 1 cup and then the gram weight, or is it? Because I can see that people would be like, what is 213 grams?
Sure, yes. Yes, so the household measure is also mandatory. Okay. That information needs to be included if it's a 1 cup serving of the pot pie or 2 cups or whatever it is.
Hi, Trish Secchi with the Campbell Soup Company. So thank you very much for this. As one of the companies that participated in the beta test, I can appreciate all of the difficulties along the way to get where we are today. I just wanted to follow up because you had mentioned that there would be both the as packaged and as prepared. And since all packages today don't contain that information, how was it determined how the as prepared would appear in the database?
Okay, so the as packaged and as prepared would only be included for those with dual column nutrition facts panel give the example of macaroni and cheese, as packaged, as prepared. And so it would be prepared, that nutrient information is based on the instructions for preparation on the box.
Okay, then my follow-up question would be for products like condensed soup that is obviously has the water removed, and the serving size would be 1/2 cup as packaged, but then you would prepare it with the equal amount of water. So it would be the rack 245 as prepared. Actually, it's the same nutrition, for a half cup as packaged and a 1 cup prepared. How will that be addressed in the database so users will understand that?
Trish, I assume when you submitted data on soup, it was as prepared, the 240, the rack size?
No,
So-
since everything is based off the label, it would be as what's actually on the package. So it'd be
On the
1/2
package.
cup condensed. That's how that description would say. So I think that there are some like concentrated products like broths and soups and some other things that might have to be addressed in some way.
Okay. Pamela, do you want to come, or?
At this point in time, whatever's on the package will be included, and I believe we made the decision to, if necessary, have 2 separate listings, but at this point, we're working that out.
You can see what we learn every day, something new to think about.
Anders Møller, Denmark. I congratulate you with your work. I wish we had something similar in Europe. We actually do have one country that was able to get the producers to make a brand name database. I have a question about your use of the UPC code, the GTIN. In Denmark, or in Northern Europe at least, we find that the code is not unique. We can go into the same supermarket and find 5, 6, 7 different products with the same code, because the supermarket chain is only using it to identify the price, not the product. Have you noticed anything similar in the US, or are the producers obeying the GS1 rules?
I understand they are unique. I'm looking at the GS1 representative here and seeing, yes.
Good morning. So my name's Angela. Yes, I work with GS1 US. So in relation to your question, the GS1, or first of all, the global trade item number that was referenced is the same as the UPC barcode. So let me just clarify that. That's one number. In the US, they are unique. I would say in the Netherlands, I'm not actually familiar with the challenge that you're speaking of. When you talk about the practice of it being multiple and it's just unique to the retailer, that does happen in the United States, but those are with things that a consumer would go and purchase, like in a deli area. So it's very specific to how I'm asking for it to be prepared. And it does contain the price because the retailer is capturing all that other information. So it's not true from a branded product, right, inside of the store. So that would be the only way that I would know how to respond to that without knowing specifically where you in the Netherlands are seeing a number across 5 different products. Because traditionally our system does not work that way.
Okay.
Can I actually add to that, because it's related to something I'll be talking about a bit later. We do find that with some of the retailers that do not go through GS1, so it's through other barcode providers, that it can happen in a smaller retailer like Aldi. I know it's not small in Europe, but in other countries it's small. They can assign the same barcode to multiple flavors of a product or multiple, so it's different nutrient values. And so it is a problem when it comes to some of those. But through GS1, we've never seen that particular problem. Just a comment on that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
on that note, can I ask my question? I'm Lizzie Dunford from the George Institute in Australia. My question was about whether you plan to push manufacturers through GS1 to actually update those products regularly, particularly here in the US, where you've got a lot of work on sodium reduction happening and other things, especially when the added sugars labeling comes into effect, and just whether that was part of the plan. I know you said you're going to have the date in there, but whether there is a plan to actually push manufacturers to continually update the products.
So within the partnership, what we agreed at a minimum, it would be done every 12 months, but it was up to the manufacturer. So, I couldn't speak to how often they would do that, but I think that they would likely be very interested in having their products represented, their current formulation. They are used to uploading data to the GS1 system on a very frequent basis. But again, those are all decisions that will be made by the manufacturer.
And the product wouldn't be removed if they didn't follow through with the 12-month update? It wouldn't be archived or anything like that?
The date stamp is there, so you would know as soon as they update with a new formulation, that data becomes archived, and so the new data would override the the previous formulation.
Thank you.
So we have our final two questions here.
My name is Karin Seys from Belgium, and perhaps I can add something to your comment, because in Belgium we have also collaboration with GS1, and there is also an European legislation, food information to consumers, and in this legislation it's mentioned that the industry, if they would like to do distance selling, so they are obligated to make all the information online available as the consumers can see in the market. So they are obligated to do a regular update of their data, the same as you can see in the market. So we have, in Belgium, we have a daily update of all the nutritional data who is collected by the GS1 company. So all the manufacturers and retailers put their own data into the GS1 Trust Box, it's called in Belgium, and so we have daily an update of all that industrial data.
Okay, thank you. That's really interesting.
Hi, Danielle Starin from Nutritionix. I was wondering how you're handling variety packs where the same UPC has multiple nutrition facts labels on the package.
Well, I hope we don't have to pull up another person. We don't have enough space.
No, we have that. Within the GS1 implementation guide, there are steps and there are condition, and it kind of goes down to that level. I don't know that off the top of my head, but it is all incorporated into the implementation guide.
Yeah, so we speak to the variants of the different products, but also we anticipate that if you use G10, you're going to adhere to the standard rules, right, around those products. So we can talk a little bit more at the break if you would like.
Thank you.
Sure.
Well, with that, let's give our invited speakers a clap as well as the spontaneous speakers.